Es sind die ersten Bilder von der Terrorattacke auf den Weihnachtsmarkt auf dem Berliner Breitscheidplatz, aufgenommen von einer Dashcam aus dem Auto eines Augenzeugen. Berlin-Charlottenburg, Montagabend 20:02 Uhr. Die Ecke Kant-Hardenberg-Budapester Straße. Der LKW fährt mit hoher Geschwindigkeit aus der Hardenbergstraße ungebremst auf den Weihnachtsmarkt am Breitscheidplatz. Sekunden später. Menschen fliehen vom Tatort. Kurz danach biegt der Augenzeuge mit seinem Auto aus der Kantstraße in die Budapester Straße ein. Dort ist der LKW zum Stillstand gekommen. Bei dem Angriff sterben 12 Menschen, 48 werden verletzt.
We're going to learn how CNN composited the ghost plane footage. The first step is to stabilize the footage and remove the camera motion. The software analyzes each frame of video and shifts it around until the background is motionless. And it keeps track of that information in a graph like this that shows how far each frame was shifted. That's going to be important later on, as we'll see. And the result is this: the towers are held stationary in the background. Next, we'll add a plane. This is a stock 767 in Google SketchUp, and I've animated the view of the plane. You can see the view changes slightly and the shadows wrap around a little bit. I've colored it red so it'll stick out, and I've added some motion blur. And we insert it into the shot and give it a nice stable motion path. And we can adjust the scale of the airplane as the shot goes forward, making it go from larger to smaller so that it appears to get farther away from us. Oops, that's a little too much, but I can tweak that down a little bit. There, that's better. And the result is the plane flies straight across. Next, we need to disappear the plane into a layer mask. That's the outline of the mask in red. And the result is that the plane just disappears into that area. Here I've stopped it sort of half in, half out. So you can see that familiar look. Next, we need to add some shadows. Now, shadows can be calculated by software. I'm getting a little impatient, so I'm just going to hand paint them in Photoshop and throw something in there. You can see there's a little dark area that occurs below and to the left of where the plane goes in. That last little spot doesn't even belong there. I should probably get rid of that, but I'm in a hurry. I'm just going to leave it in there and see what happens. Next, we need to add some information that sort of represents a hole in the side of the tower. So I've taken the image of the actual hole that did occur to the tower later on, scaled it in there, and I've drawn a mask around it. And I've even gone and animated the shape of the mask over time so that the hole appears to grow larger and grow into that final shape that I drew. And the result is that the plane appears to disappear into this jagged hole. Now, we don't see any parts of the plane breaking off or any parts of the building breaking, so I'm going to try to cover a bunch of stuff up. Apple Motion has a large library of particle emitters. They give us things like smoke clouds, explosions, and dust explosions, and so forth. You can just simply drag and drop that information in, but you can also copy and paste information from existing video, which is what I'm going to do here. I've taken the dust explosions from the original ghost plane footage, wherever that may have come from originally, isolated it and pasted it in, covering up the nose and the engines and the hole and whatever else I didn't actually care for. And the final step is to unstabilize the footage and put back in the camera motion that we took out in the beginning. The software flips the stabilized information and applies it to everything. Now, after we add back in the horrified voices, the result is footage that's every bit as convincing as the original ghost plane footage, which is to say, not completely convincing. In both shots, we don't see any parts of the airplane breaking or bending or twisting. We don't see any parts of the building actually breaking off. We see a hole in the building that sort of fades in. We see puffballs that just sort of magically appear. And so there are two lessons here. One is the technical lesson, learning just how this type of compositing is done. And secondly, the psychological lesson, which is that if the great masses of people are sufficiently traumatized, they'll believe anything.